Despite paying the highest taxes in the nation, residents in California could soon be paying even more if Democrats get their way. One America's Pearson explains how the state's attorney general is looking to take apart Proposition 13 and raise California's property taxes.
California Democrats are fighting hard to impose even higher taxes across the state, going after a provision that's protected homeowners and businesses for the last 40 years, Proposition 13. It's a measure that puts a hard limit on how much the state can charge for property taxes, and now California's far-left Attorney General, Javier Becerra, wants to get rid of it. One American News spoke with John Kupel, the president of the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, the largest taxpayers association in California.
What we find very troubling is the fact that we have a budget surplus and a very, very heavy tax load, and yet that has not stopped the progressives from proposing all kinds of new taxes.
Proposition 13 was created back in the 1970s when residents revolted after being taxed out of their homes. Prop 13 mandated that properties can only be taxed at 1% of their market value. But even with Prop 13, Californians are still shelling out a lot of money on their property taxes.
California is not a low property tax state. We rank 17th out of 50 states in per capita property tax collection. So overall, California is a very difficult place for taxpayers to live.
However, California's Attorney General Javier Becerra wants to make it even more difficult. His goal is to radically alter Prop 13, dramatically hiking taxes on business properties and hitting Californians with another $12.5 billion in new taxes.
And what this latest proposal is to remove Prop 13's protections from business communities, which would be about a $12 billion a year property tax increase. So if businesses wanted another reason to leave California, if this were to pass, certainly that would exacerbate the problems we are now facing.
Some 13,000 businesses have fled California's harsh tax climate in the last decade, and John says that if they're looking for another reason to leave, Javier Becerra and the Democrats are giving it to them.
If somebody asks, is this the first step in demolishing Prop 13, the split roll proposal, the answer is yes. In fact, the progressives have made it clear in their public pronouncements that taking away Prop 13 from businesses is just the first step. They'll come after homeowners next.
Even though residents shot down the first attempt to dismantle Proposition 13, Javier Becerra tried again, this time changing the name of his proposal so it didn't even include the word taxes. Instead, it's now being called Education and Local Government Funding. And of course, if the measure passes and businesses are forced to pay more, they're going to pass that cost on to consumers, hitting Californians with an even higher cost of living.
If you ask them how much they want, their reply will be, how much do you have? Because they want it all. That's the reality in California. The forces in favor of tax increases are very strong and they're unrelenting.
But there's still hope. The measure isn't on the ballot yet, and Becerra still needs to collect nearly 1 million signatures for the new tax to qualify for the November 2020 elections. John says voters need to fight the initiative, and that starts with electing leaders who put Californians first.
And if people care about taxation and overtaxation, then they should vote accordingly. But we need to elect better pro-taxpayer, pro-business elected representatives, both at the local and state level.
Pearson Sharp, One American News.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.